Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the Into the Weekend with BetDSI show that we do every week with Brent, the headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook. Right now, we're going to do college football week 4, and we're doing it this week on Thursday afternoon, not Friday. Brent, thanks for being back with us.
Good to be with you, Peter.
All right, so we're doing it on Thursday now, so maybe there's a little bit less information than we would normally get if we were doing college on Friday, but how much of a difference is there really between the info you can give us on Thursday afternoon as opposed to Friday afternoon?
I mean, it varies week to week, obviously. I mean, there's guys out there who are just looking to, play both sides of the game sometimes, so they're jumping in early on a number, driving it up, and they're coming back in maybe closer to game time, taking it the other way. But, I mean, those guys can also wait until Saturday as well, depending on their feel for the game. You'll see the totals move perhaps a little bit more on Fridays where some big hitters will come in. But, I mean, the information that I've got here this week, for example, I've got a lot of sharp stuff and all that, and you've seen a lot of line moves already. So sometimes it depends on the opening number and how accurate they are, and other times it depends just on the sharps and how strong they feel about a certain game, and also how they feel about a line in terms of where it's going to go, in terms of public driving it up and then taking the other way, or them wanting to jump in early.
All right, I hear you, Brent. Well, we've seen a lot of line movement so far this week. It seems like there's a lot more line movement. There's been a lot more line movement this week than in the first 3 weeks. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, that would be accurate, and I mean, we'll touch on a few of these games later on, but there's been a lot of, you would refer to oil money and retiree money coming in against sharp money, so that's kind of a good situation where you've got people perhaps with deep pockets playing against guys who are sharp as well.
All right, well, let's start off with the marquee games that I want to ask you about. First one, Florida, Alabama. This is one of those games that's had a ton of line movement, right? I think I saw it at 19 when it first came out. I definitely saw 17.5 market-wide. Then it went down to 14.5. You were thinking, is it going to bounce back up or is it going to go to 14? It went flat to 14. I saw the Greek has 13.5, so someone's betting the hell out of Florida, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where we're kind of bouncing back and forth between 14 and 14.5. I've got, pretty good money. I mean, guys who respect a lot who have been taking the Alabama minus the 14, and guys equally as strong taking the 14.5. So I think this is a game, at least for us, that's going to sit around where it is right now. I don't know if there's, like I said, we're doing this call on Thursday. I don't know if there's a 13.5 out there now. They kind of pop back and forth. Perhaps like for us, what's working is 14 and 14.5, and someone else might be 14 and 13.5. But I mean, the count is slightly in favor of Florida. The money's pretty much dead even. This is a game where we'll probably drive a lot of action just sitting around 14. Again, we're doing this call Thursday. What I've seen so far, 14 seems like the number just because I've got sharp guys both ways, and even my public count is pretty much close.
And let's talk about Mississippi State LSU. This line has gone down as well from 10 to 9. Mississippi State usually loses by double digits to LSU, so I'm assuming that's got to be sharp action on Mississippi State. That's not the public betting Mississippi State, right?
I've had pretty much two-way action on this. I mean, a little bit of sharp action did touch LSU minus 9. We're sitting 9.5 right now, but there are still 9s on the board. Plus 10 was kind of sharp as well. So again, this is a situation where guys could pretty much split. I do have sharp money on the under this game, under 50 with sharp money. We're only at 49.5 right now, so I can see that number going down because we've taken absolutely no money back on the over 49.5. So we'll probably dip down to try and get some over money to go against the sharp money that came in. But on the side, my count is dead even. My money is dead even. I'm just not, sitting at 9.5. It seems like the right number again for the action we've seen so far.
All right, and then Clemson, Florida State. That line, of course, has taken a big dip down. That's because Winston will be out in the first half, but I'm assuming that at 20 and probably even now. Well, I don't know actually. Did the public react to Winston being out in the first half? Did they start betting Clemson?
Yeah, this is a case where I've kind of we're going to have a new category. I've got sharp money and public money on Clemson here, and the deep pocket oil money on Florida State. Now, they've taken, Clemson was plus 19 and plus 17.5. We're sitting with Florida State minus 16.5 right now, and a total of 60. Now, the sharp guys also came in under the 63, so that was sharp money. So I've got sharps both on Clemson plus 19, plus 17.5, and I have them on the under. My count for this game is it's about 2-1 in favor of Clemson right now, but the money's pretty much even. And again, that money on Florida State, not particularly sharp, but a few big bets.
All right, and then Oklahoma and West Virginia is the last game I wanted to touch on, and this is another game that I saw big early movement on, right? It was opened at 11.5, I think. Then it went down to 8.5. Then it went all the way down to a 7.5 at most places. Now it's back up to about 8. I'm assuming you got early sharp action on West Virginia, right?
The early money on this one was actually, it wasn't. I guess there's guys who play games thinking that the number's out of whack, and if they're taking West Virginia in a case like this plus like 11, and the line drops down to 7 or 7.5, they might play the other way. That's kind of what they're looking for. Not so much they'd like one side or the other side. I do have sharp money involved in this game though. This is mostly at the plus 10. I had that and plus 8.5 even on West Virginia. So it's my count is actually slightly favors West Virginia, and my money favors West Virginia as well. So, but it's mostly sharp money that did come in on West Virginia there.
All right, great. And now let's see what you can tell us about sharp action from the rest of the Week 4 card. I'm assuming there's a lot of it because there's been a lot of lines that have made big moves since opening, and I'm assuming that's been mostly driven by sharp action. Brent, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we'll drive through this kind of quickly here just because there are quite a few plays. First at the top, we'll pick Maryland plus 2.5 with sharp and the under that game as well. Now, the sharps were going under when the line was like 55.5, 55, 54.5. We're sitting down at 52.5, and we have got some over money back. So we're not bad in terms of who we need for this position, but definitely we had sharp money that was on the under. So under 55, around 55.5 on that game was definite sharp. Maryland plus 2.5 was sharp. We're sitting at 1.5 right now. Down to Tulane and Duke, that's strictly a total play as well. The over was sharp there. I had sharp money going over 54.5. We're sitting at 58 where we finally got some money back, but over 54.5 was definite sharp. If you want to lay a big number, Michigan State, they're at home to Eastern Michigan. That was sharp when the number was like 54 on Michigan State. The Sharps actually laid the big number like that, which is kind of surprising to see them lay a number that big, but I guess they think Michigan State probably is going to roll over Eastern Michigan here. Middle Tennessee State is another game where I've got sharp money. This is a situation where we've got sharp money versus public money. The Sharps are on Middle Tennessee State. They're at Memphis. Memphis is right now a 12-point favorite. So, and the Sharps actually came in at 12.5, so the line hasn't moved a ton, but just a lot of bets on Memphis as well. My count's probably 3-1 in favor of Memphis, but the money favors Middle Tennessee, so we had some sharp action there. The under was also sharp in that same game. Memphis under 64 was sharp. We're sitting at 60 right now. We're starting to get a little bit of money back, so we didn't have to move too far. Usually like around 3 points is already if you have to move in college football to get some money back, so that's not a bad spot for us. Florida International and Louisville, that's a sharp game where I've got a couple of sharps all on the same side with Louisville. They laid Louisville one minus 24, 24.5, and 26. Sitting at 27 right now, we're getting a little bit of money back on Florida International, but Louisville minus the 24.5 and above, that was very sharp action. Arkansas or Arkansas, as y'all like to say, they were sharp money as well. Minus 11.5 was sharp. I've got a ton of volume on this game. Actually, a lot of public money going back the other way. Some deep pockets on Northern Illinois. So right now we're at Arkansas minus 13.5. And we're actually in a position where we're pretty much balanced. We even need Arkansas just slightly. Now again, the Sharps came in minus 11, and we're 13.5 right now. So although the game doesn't land kind of 13 in the middle there, we should be okay. And Arizona, California, that's another real good volume game. I've got public money on California. My count's both 3-1 in favor of California, and I've got sharp money on Arizona. Arizona sharp money came minus 7.5, minus 8 where we are right now. There's even some 8.5s out there, but it's definitely deep pockets public money as well on California, and the Sharps are decidedly on Arizona, Peter.
Great information as always, Brent from BetDSI. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you tomorrow when we'll cover NFL Week 3. Thanks, Brent.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.